Hello fam, welcome back to my channel. My name is JJ. If you didn't already know, I'm a writer, I'm a reader, I'm a book marketer. I love suspense and mystery and crime. So that's the short version. Welcome back. Today I have some updates for you. It has been a while since I've given you a writing update, I believe. So quick recap. I've been working on a book for about the last just short of a year. And it is a crime suspense following a bunch of college students as they try to finagle their way out of a bunch of criminal charges. And the implications of being the main suspects in their friend's murder. This is, as a concept, not particularly unique, but I do hope and think that the writing style and the direction I took the story it makes up for that. There are lots of books out there following this sort of what happens in college stays in college mentality, and I wanted to try my hand at that. So that's what I have done. I finished the draft as I said. I finished my edits. I had my beta readers go through it, and most excitingly, I have begun the query process, which, if you've been around for a while, you know that I've done this in the past. Querying, if you're unfamiliar, is the process of a writer approaching a literary agent or a publishing house and telling them about their book and asking them to help them get it published. Literary agents and publishing houses are all looking for very specific things. They all have their passion areas. It's very personal in terms of what the agents will be taking on. And they do their best to tell you what they're interested in, what kinds of stories they like, what kind of writing they're interested in. But in the end, we're all just taking a shot in the dark and hoping for the best, most of the time. So that is the process that I have begun. I am 13 queries in, so it's very early days. I didn't want to talk about it until I was actually in the process of it. But yeah, what that looks like for next steps, because I'm sure that's what a lot of people are wondering, especially if you're new to the industry or you're trying to get a handle on what the process looks like. You query for a long time, either until you land an agent or until you stop. When you're querying, it is not unusual to be in limbo for a month or more. Most of the time, I hear back from agents either not at all at the end of their query window, which is usually 2 months to 4 weeks to 2 months, or within 2 days. Oftentimes, if I hear back that quickly, it's a rejection. But I've also heard stories of people getting full requests, which is the request that an agent sends asking for the full manuscript so that they can read the whole thing and assess the whole thing. And really decide if that's something that they want to represent. That's the next step. That's what I'm aiming for right now. I'm aiming for full requests. I've had a lot of espresso today, and I have even more sitting on my desk. But that is the process. I email these literary agents and I say, hi, this is what my book is about. This is what I'm writing. This is who I am. And then I wait and I hope. And I try not to get my hopes up too high because statistically it is unlikely that within my first 30 queries I will have any sort of progress, which is that's the hardest part about the query process, frankly, is that you know, you always aim for your favorite authors or your favorite queries or the top lists that you would like, wow, this is my dream person, right? You always aim for those people first, and then as they all start saying no, it gets a little disheartening. So this is a long process, but that's the update, is that I am working on the query process of this book. Yeah. In the process, to keep myself from being disheartened, I just started reading again Stephen King's On Writing, a Memoir of the Craft. This book is hilarious. His recollections of his childhood adventures and mishaps. He's a very normal person, coming from lower middle class America, and I love that about him. It's a very approachable memoir. It's a very interesting knowledge base for authors studying the craft, trying to get better at writing. There is no one path to being a published writer. There's no one path to being a successful author. Every single person has done it a different way. And so looking at how his path took him on winding roads, it's just very encouraging to hear how difficult it was, even for one of the absolute best writers of all time, to get his start, right? It's just encouraging to the weary, querying soul to hear the camaraderie of how difficult it is to be in the process of pursuing publication. Granted, he didn't have all of the possible paths of publication that I have at my disposal, and he found his way regardless of that, which is simultaneously so encouraging and also overwhelming, because there were fewer options back then, and now there's about 1 million and really no wrong answers. It's just a matter of what is the right path for me, and I'm just still trying to figure that out. But for right now, I'm going to try traditional publishing and see where that goes, which means a lot of waiting and a lot of trying and a lot of getting the nerve up to have the guts to put myself out there again and again and again. I've also been continuing the short stories on my blog, so if you want to get a handle on what types of books I write, what kinds of stories I write, to see if my style is something you're interested in, you can go check it out. I just wrote the 11th part of The Regulars of Amanda Lexie, which is a short story serial that I've been releasing over the last 2 years, slowly but surely, intermittently. So if you want it's still ongoing, but if you want short original fiction and you want to test it out and see if my style is right for you, I'd love to have you test it out. So it's always a little frightening to put your work out there, but it's also exhilarating. So yeah, that's the update. I am in the query trenches and have been for almost just over a month now. So here we go. In the meantime, I am looking for other story ideas. I am letting my mind wander, because finishing a book always means that suddenly there's space in your mind for the next book, and you can finally start working on that, whatever that next story is. I still have actually up on my wall the plot line that I thought I was going to work on before I started writing the book that I just finished. So I do still have that one. I might go back and mull it over again and see if those characters still speak to me, see if that plotline still sounds interesting, see kind of what it would take in my mind to bring that to fruition. my goal as I pursue traditional publishing, ideally, let's see, I have to do some math here for a second, so give me one moment to think. Ideally, I'm going to continue pursuing traditional publishing until 2028 or 2029. We'll see how that goes, see if that's still a path that I want to keep pursuing on as I keep walking down this path. Different doors open and close, and all of the closed doors for a past project reopen with a new project. It's very rare that a literary agent is like, I don't want to see anything else from you ever. Most of the time, if you come back to them again and again and again and again, they start to remember you, and they start to look for improvement, because whatever it was that didn't resonate them about that project at that time in that market and your style at that stage of your writing development journey, that changes with the next draft. Maybe that particular plotline just wasn't something that spoke to them, but maybe this other plotline that you wrote does. So there's a lot of doors that shut because you try them, and then you come back again later and you try again. And so there's doors that open and shut and then open again when you have new projects. So my plan is to just, while I'm querying, write as many books as I can in the next 4 years, the next 6 years, however long it takes. And then I will reassess where I'm at in the process, and if I am still enjoying it, or if I still even want to pursue traditional publishing, or if I want to try something different. Because at that point, like I said, I mean, there are so many more options available to me than just traditional publishing. And by the point that I would be turning to another option, A, I'll have a lot more connections in the industry, and B, I'll have a lot more experience in the industry. If you're unfamiliar, because you're new here, this is the first video of mine you're watching. Hello, welcome, I'm glad you're here. I work as the marketing director at a small publishing house based out of California. If you want to submit your book and work with me, I'll put the link down in the description. But the short version is that I am getting all sides of the industry. I'm getting book production, I'm getting cover design, I'm getting layout experience, I'm getting marketing experience and sales experience, I'm getting editorial experience. So by the time that I decide that I don't want to go the traditional publishing route, I mean, I'm already extremely capable of producing and selling my own work if I wanted to do that. I could do it at a really high quality because I know what all of the industry standards are. I'm not ready to try to do it on my own yet. So I am going to keep pursuing that until I am ready to try it a different way. But what that looks like and how that goes, I mean, I'll be developing all of those skills the whole time. So it's not like I'm going to lose what I'm working on or how I'm doing it, or any of the skills or any of the knowledge or any of the contacts. That those things will only grow. And the crazy thing about book publishing as well is that your odds actually increase with age. The older you are, the easier it seems to be to get a book contract. And like, that's not a set rule, don't get me wrong. It's not like a 70-year-old is going to have a better chance at getting published than a 40-year-old, but a 30-year-old is absolutely going to have a better chance at getting published than a 25-year-old, right? And a lot of that just comes from experience, resources, and how the industry is still based in a lot of the old ways of doing things. There's also this thought that, which, if you watch Gen Z at all, you know it's not true. But there is a thought that you need to have life experience to have anything to say, right? if you're going to have anything to say about the world and life, or you're going to make a statement, it needs to be coming from a place of authority, and that authority comes with age. I don't know if I don't think I believe that. I think that there's a lot of wonderful fiction. I think that would be true for nonfiction, but I think that there's a lot of wonderful fiction and stories that come out of the young generations. In fact, I think there's things that are lost when you're not listening to young voices and including them in what you're putting out there. Is it harder to navigate the professional fields when you're in your early 20s? Absolutely, but we're doing that anyway with corporate jobs, right? So there's a lot of things that's a bit of a soapbox, but regardless, the publishing industry gets easier with age, and the more I stick at it, I have a feeling something is going to open up. One way or another, a path, a way forward, a proposed thought, right? It's all going to open up eventually, at some point. I just don't know when that is, and I don't know what that will look like yet. And so for right now, I'm going to pursue the path that has been laid out for hundreds of years by writers like me ahead of me. And we'll see how it goes. So I will let you know when I am represented by a literary agent. That might be a year from now, it might be 2 months from now, it might be 4 years from now. But I am so glad that you're on this journey with me, and I am very, very grateful for the community that you guys have created around me. Writing is a very lonely profession because so much of it is done in solitude. So it is very comforting to have people who are interested in what I'm doing and what I'm pursuing and excited for me, on behalf of me and with me. And I wouldn't be here without you. So thank you. Until next time, I'll see you then. If you wanted to help out in any other ways, there are a few other options for how you could show your support beyond liking the video, subscribing to my channel, hitting that little notifications bell. You're on YouTube, you know the drill. Those sorts of things just help make sure that you see the videos that I post, which would be nice. I like it when I get to talk to you. But if there are things, like if you want to get involved in any other way, there are so many options. I have a merch shop with t-shirts and mugs and hoodies and stickers. I have a coffee account. You can buy me a coffee and support my writing habits. I take myself out to a coffee shop every week, as you would know if you follow my Instagram, to work on my craft, work on my books, and spend a dedicated time every week on my craft. That all comes out of my own pocket. It would be really nice to have a little assistance with that. So if you want to help me out that way, that's an option. All of those links are down below. But even beyond that, just following me, interacting with my stuff, liking the video, it just tells me that you're interested and helps when I am feeling that solitary, lonely thing that happens with writing careers. So until next time, thank you so much for joining me on this journey, and I will see you then. Bye.